Now, Besigye has suffered too much. That man, you remember, he just reform agenda.
Yes,
since we made we founded the reform agenda, and we started opposing, and he contested. And in fact, Museveni rigged his election. Some areas where he had not even won, but you know the way he suffered. That man, for him to be alive, is by God's grace. I'm sure poisons have been put into him. I'm sure. You remember the way he has been tortured. And now he lives in this country. He doesn't go to exile. He went to exile once after the reform agenda. Ever since they did FDC, I think he has never gone back to exile. He lives here. Now, when he has gone to launch the book, assuming that they are thinking that he's doing some clandestine work, I will comment on that also.
Yes.
Assuming that he's doing some clandestine work against their leadership, not against the country. Let me tell you, there's a difference between Uganda and the leadership of Uganda.
Those are two different things.
If I'm opposing the leadership of Uganda, I'm not opposing Uganda. And if I'm doing some work to deliver Uganda from the leadership of which is bad, then you are working for the nation. So now Besigye, assuming they were following him somehow and he's doing clandestine work, since Besigye does not run to exile, did they have to go to Kenya and arrest him from Kenya? That is point number one. He was here, wasn't he here?
He was.
He went on to the airport.
Yes.
Weren't they aware? All these things from Simanyi Netherlands, what did they say?
Yes,
Switzerland,
yes.
These foreign countries
they mentioned of recent,
that he's been doing things with them to I don't know. The charge is not even, there is no charge. It is a useless, hopeless charge they are putting forward. How can you say security issues without detailing it? But they were saying...
Retired Dr. Kizza Besigye subscribes to a school of thought that elections are useless now.
But that's the truth. Am I not telling you that?
You subscribe to that?
They are useless. If anything, they are wasting. They are useless, yet they are costing this nation too much. They are useless.
There are those who still believe in them. What do you have to tell them? Those who
what
still believe.
What do I tell them? Me, I talk my talk. Do they have to follow me? Me, I say, well, there is nothing. I don't expect anything out of elections. I don't expect, and I can assure you, this President Museveni cannot be removed through elections. Which elections? Organized by who?
What do you speak about, what do you have to say about Dr. Kizza Besigye's abduction?
But usually I've been trying to change this word, my language. I almost wanted to jump out by saying that nonsense. You know, but these days I'm polishing my language. But surely, I think, I don't know, all those people who love President Museveni, really,
yes,
who love that man, they should really tell him. Because for us, I love him, but then I'm not with him. I tell him publicly.
Yes.
I tell him publicly, and he can't take my advice when I'm shouting it publicly. But surely what President Museveni is doing, if his mind cannot tell him that it is wrong, I don't know what he wants. Because this man Besigye, remember, why shouldn't we have a different opinion? Why should, do you think because I fight for women, they should all agree with me? Why should they agree with me?
Yeah.
We were all created differently. And for me, when I see President Museveni torturing the very man that was with him in the bush, the very man that contributed to his health, treating him even in the bush. When I see how he's paying him, I look at him like, you know, these Israelites,
yes,
the biblical Israelites,
yes,
how they treated Jesus when he went into their nation and healed the sick and restored the blind, the what, and he fed them, and he did all the good things. And how did they pay him? They embarrassed him and hanged him on the cross, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So President Museveni really, especially the people he went with in the bush, when they went to deliver Uganda, when Uganda was suffering the way we are right now suffering, and he went to the bush, and Besigye was one of them. Do you think President Museveni believes that we people who have brains, by the way, we are wise? He's not the only intelligent person. Eh? We people who have brains and who reason. Do you think I can ever believe that Besigye was with a gun? Those 2 guns they are talking about, and the bullets, whatever they are. How did he pass at the airport, Entebbe airport, with guns? How did he go and enter into Kenya with guns? How did he enter the hotel? Even the hotels take us with guns. How? And now, does he think that we can believe that those people who arrested him are not the ones who had the guns? They had to go with the guns and say Besigye is the one with the guns. And so that charge to me is a nuisance. It's a nonsensical charge that they are putting forward. They should have reasoned. I hear people say, they are saying, yeah, you wait until we get the evidence. Is it the first time?
Dr. What
how many times have they arrested Besigye? And how many times have they got the evidence? They keep shouting they have the evidence.
He has
they
never
have the
been
evidence.
convicted of
Which
any.
evidence do they have? He departed from the agenda. President Museveni and all the people who came from the bush and we who joined him, we had an agenda to deliver Uganda and never again to put it on the track of this journey of fighting, of arresting people, of violating our human rights. We thought that we were redeeming Uganda from those bad leadership, set it on the path, democratic path of promoting human rights, of developing our country in all areas of life, of having a leadership that was really people-centered and service-oriented. Not the leadership of President Museveni right now, which is, it is self-centered and it is power-oriented, just getting power for personal interest.
Weesiimye mattu oli wa mukisa okukira abalala. Omugugu gw'ebizibu by'ettaka gukutikuddwa Brand Property Services Limited ku lw'ettaka eritaliiko nkaayana. Ennyumba eziwedde okuzimbibwa wamu n'ez'okupangisa, apartments ez'okupangisa wamu n'okugula mu mawanga ag'enjawulo okuli Uganda, Kenya, Bungereza, Dubai, America wamu ne Canada. Okuddaabiriza ennyumba oba ebizimbe byo, property management n'abasaveya abakugu abataakufere. Twekwate ku nsonga zonna ezekuusa ku by'ettaka nga kw'otadde n'okugobera ku kyapa kyo. Kati pazo y'eby'ettaka ebadde okukaluubiriza egonjoddwa bw'okwataganye naffe. Tukubire ku noti 703 noti 79 oba noti 773 noti oba otusange ku MT House omwaliiro ogusooka room 5 ewazana ku Entebbe Road okuliraana ekizimbe kya Muguluma Empire. Tukyalireko ne ku website yaffe www.brandpro.co.ug. Brand Pro Property Services Limited, tutuukiriza birooto.
Abalungi abatuwuliriza era abatulaba, olunaku olwaleero tukyaddeko ewa Sheikh Ashraf Dembe.
Sebo nsanyusa okubalaba. Amannya agange nze Sheikh Ashraf Dembe. Akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa, tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba. Tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu. N'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa. Ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Naneetaase kale enamba yange yeno eri 0701373711 namwe banyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku ddwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amanyago ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nze Hajji Ashraf Simwogerere, omuwandiisi ate era omuzannyi w'emizannyo. Mu bitabo by'empandiika bikwatagana ku bulamu bwaffe obwa bulijjo oba nga luyita social, political and economic. Oyinza okusoma ebitabo byange nga otusinkana ku WhatsApp yaffe eri 0756 12 65 15 nga osobola okusasula $1.5 buli mwezi. Waliwo comments oba $2 nga omutali comments. N'awalala oyinza otusinkana ku Amazon ku Simwogere Ashraf Kindle. Nkwaniriza nnyo otusinkane era n'ebitabo byaffe osobola obifuna hard copies okuva ku Mukono Bookshop oba okulagiriza ku WhatsApp namba eyo oba enamba yaffe eyo gye nkuwadde. Nkwagala nnyo.
Endowooza wamu n'ebigambo ebyogerwa mu pulogulaamu eno bya muntu ssekinnoomu akyaziddwa wabula tebikiikirira ndowooza wamu n'okutegeera okwabaddukanya omukutu guno oba abo abagulangirako osabibwa okuwuliriza n'obwegendereza okusobola okwesalirawo ku mulamwa guno wamu n'ebyo ebiteesebwa. Weebale kulaba mukutu gwa Uganda Eyenkya. Uganda Eyenkya.
Alright, abali ku mukutu tubaaniriza nnyo era nyongera okubeera nga mbeebaza gyonna gye mutuusaako engalo mwebale okugoberera omukutu guno ogwa Uganda Eyenkya n'emikutu gyaffe emirala gyonna. Mukola kya ttendo nnyo okubeera nga musubscribinga saako n'okutugoberera. Nate nkomyewo ewa Dr. Miria Matembe yaliko omubaka wa Parliament ng'akiikirira abakyala oba women represent
abantu bonna
yes Mbarara district
n'aba Africa nabo nabakiikirira ku Pan African Parliament.
Dr. Miria Matembe munnamateeka ate era mulwanirizi wa ddembe ly'obuntu ate era alwanirira nnyo n'eddembe ly'abakyala saako n'abantu bonna n'abaana ate era yeesimbawo ne mu kalulu kagamba nti mulundi ogusembyeyo yalaba bingi akalulu k'abakadde ne kabbibwa ebintu byali tasuubira okubeera nga n'akalulu k'abakadde naye kale yaliko era minisita wa ethics and integrity. Yes, aweereza mu capacities ez'enjawulo but above all ekinnyaniriza ewuwe angels at God ku geeti ye.
Singa tebankuma nandibadde ntya.
Yes.
Rosa nandibadde mulamu.
She's a Christian and of recent people loved so much your dancing moves at All Saints Cathedral while the church that was a very, very great day. Yeah. A great day for me and I think for all of us the Christians at All Saints Church because it had taken us more, I think, 20 years to accomplish that good temple of the Lord. And therefore, for me, having been there, you know, we had several building committees in different phases. And blessed me and Justice Ogola. Yes, Justice Ogola.
We were the first committee. Justice Ogola was chairing the first committee that was organizing the building of that church and I was a member. And since then you can imagine 20 years or so. Many people have been there chairing committees and they have passed on without entering that church.
Yes.
But for me, I prayed, God, I want to enter that church.
That's why your celebrations and jubilations speak volumes.
It was like, if you know the Bible, God told Zerubbabel that your hand has established the foundation of this temple.
Absolutely.
And your hand will accomplish it. You see, so now I was part of the team that started and that ended. Therefore, how couldn't I go
celebrate and
promised
dance
to God that when we ever finish that cathedral and I'm still alive, I will celebrate and dance for you like Solomon.
So that explains your dancing moves that actually...
I was dancing for the Lord. I was praising the Lord. I was praying that the glory of the Lord may descend into that cathedral. You know, when you are governed by, when King Solomon finished building the temple of the Lord, and they sang and danced, and the glory of the Lord filled the whole cathedral.
Many couldn't believe that you could even pull off such dance moves. That was really, it amused me. That was
what
really great.
Amused you? Dancing for the Lord.
Those dancing moves, doctor was like, oh my God, this is great.
You mean you had never seen me? Actually, for me, dancing for the Lord is a covenant with the Lord. Because I used to love dancing.
Yes.
So when I met the Lord, when I had a personal encounter with the Lord, I said, but now me, I love dancing. Now what will happen? Because Christians, and those days, traditional Christians, they're like the Church of Uganda.
Church of Uganda.
You could not even move at all. So I said, what about dancing? Won't they think I'm a sinner? He said, no, you will dance for me. And so me, I dance for the Lord. I dance for the Lord as a sign of thanksgiving, as joy for sustaining me. All these, I'm going into 19th year since they threw me out there, and I fell into His grace. And therefore He sustains me. You can see He keeps us here in our simple home, no mansions, no nothing, but the Lord sustains.
You're living your simple life, and
so how can't I really dance for the Lord for sustaining me?
Those dance moves, they really confirmed to me that you're not bothered of anything, even not serving government up to now. Unlike
actually,
other politicians,
I didn't go to serve government. When I entered politics, I went there to change the situation of a woman and a girl, and broadly fight for justice, equality, and fairness for all. So the political platform was where to stand and espouse my cause, which I really did, and up to now I still do. For me, I consider myself as a fully accomplished woman of destiny, who had a childhood dream, and the Lord enabled me
to accomplish
it, document it, up to now, and He gave me extra. The Lord is good. What I had hoped or dreamed to get, He gave me extra. All those things, Minister, Pan-African Parliament, Constitutional Commissioner, all those were extra on top of what I had wanted. Me, I had wanted to be a lawyer and see what the lawyer is saying and plead for justice and fairness. And eventually I learned that the lawyer is made in Parliament. Then I extended my dream that when I finish studying and see what the law is saying, if it is not good, I get into Parliament and make the law. So for me, it was becoming a lawyer, to shout for justice and fairness, especially for women and girls, and then enter Parliament and make the law that will promote the rights of people.
You've literally achieved what you
So I achieved that. And then the rest were extra. God is amazing. He can give you your needs and even give you your extra desire, extra which you had not desired. That's what the Bible says actually, that He can give you immensely more, measurably more than what you had wanted.
Doctor, let me
That's
take you.
what He has done for me, and so I praise Him. I dance for Him when given an opportunity, and so. And I thank him.
Let me take you to things happening actually across East Africa. Of recent, retired Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye was abducted from Kenya while he was actually scheduled to attend Martha Karua's book launch.
Do you know Martha Karua is my mentee? That great woman of Kenya who has contested for president and even a runmate for vice president.
Yes.
She's a very great woman. And even this is Martha Karua. Then there is Martha Koome, the current Chief Justice. All those were my mentees, I'm telling you.
Oh my God,
when
that's
they
beautiful.
came to Uganda here and found FIDA was running, we were like, fire, you know. They said, oh, what? Then, pooh, they ran and we ran together. I have many friends there
in Kenya,
Kenya who like we shared the passion that we got. So for me to see the Chief Justice and see that Martha Karua, Martha, you know, and there was Charity Njiru, Charity, I've forgotten some of the Beth Mugo, all those were my colleagues, were really working together. And Martha Karua is certainly a very great woman. And having written her book, I don't know why she forgot to invite me.
I was about to ask that.
I could have been arrested also. But me, I can't be arrested because I'm surrounded by the angels, as you have seen.
What do you speak about? What do you have to say about Dr. Kizza Besigye's abduction?
But usually I've been trying to change this word, my language. I almost wanted to jump out by saying that nonsense, you know, but these days I'm polishing my language. But surely, I think, I don't know, all those people who love President Museveni, really, who love that man, they should really tell him, because for us, I love him, but then I'm not with him. I tell him publicly. I tell him publicly, and he can't take my advice when I'm shouting it publicly. But surely what President Museveni is doing, if his mind cannot tell him that it is wrong, I don't know what he wants. Because this man Besigye, remember, why shouldn't we have a different opinion? Why should, do you think because I fight for women, they should all agree with me? Why should they agree with me? We were all created differently. And for me, when I see President Museveni torturing the very man that was with him in the bush, the very man that contributed to his health, treating him even in the bush, when I see how he's paying him, I look at him like, you know, these Israelites, the biblical Israelites, how they treated Jesus when he went into their nation and healed the sick and restored the blind, the what, and he fed them and he did all the good things. And how did they pay him? They embarrassed him and hanged him on the cross, that kind of thing. So President Museveni really, especially the people he went with in the bush, when they went to deliver Uganda, when Uganda was suffering the way we are right now suffering, and he went to the bush, and Besigye was one of them. And when they came, we joined them and we worked together. But then he departed from the agenda. President Museveni and all the people who came from the bush and we who joined him, we had an agenda to deliver Uganda and never again to put it on the track of this journey of fighting, of arresting people, of violating our human rights. We thought that we were redeeming Uganda from those bad leadership, set it on the path, democratic path of promoting human rights, of developing our country in all areas of life, of having a leadership that was really people-centered and service-oriented. Not the leadership of President Museveni right now, which is, you know, it is self-centered and it is power-oriented, just getting power for personal interest. That's what he's doing. Now, if Besigye and the rest of other people who opposed him. If we say no, we have parted from the path for which my brothers died, my uncles, my cousins in the bush, and I suffered with all the orphans whom I take care of up to now. And now for you come, you jump from the right path, you go again into the bush, and you carry the country in suffering again, and yet you still want everybody to follow you, to agree with you. And anybody who does not agree with you must suffer. Now, Besigye has suffered too much. That man, you remember, he just reform agenda.
Yes,
since we he founded the reform agenda, and we started opposing, and he contested. And in fact, Museveni rigged his election. Some areas where he had not even won, but you know the way he suffered. That man, for him to be alive, is by God's grace. I'm sure poisons have been put into him. I'm sure. You remember the way he has been tortured. And now he lives in this country. He doesn't go to exile. He went to exile once after the reform agenda. Ever since they did FDC, I think he has never gone back to exile. He lives here. Now, when he has gone to launch the book, assuming that they are thinking that he's doing some clandestine work, I will comment on that also.
Yes.
Assuming that he's doing some clandestine work against their leadership, not against the country. Let me tell you, there's a difference between Uganda and the leadership of Uganda.
Those are two different things.
If I'm opposing the leadership of Uganda, I'm not opposing Uganda. And if I'm doing some work to deliver Uganda from the leadership of which is bad, then you are working for the nation. So now Besigye, assuming they were following him somehow and he's doing clandestine work, since Besigye does not run to exile, did they have to go to Kenya and arrest him from Kenya? That is point number one. He was here, wasn't he here?
He was.
He went on to the airport.
Yes.
Weren't they aware? All these things from Simanyi Netherlands, what did they say?
Yes,
Switzerland,
yes.
these foreign countries
they mentioned of recent,
that he's been doing things with them to I don't know. The charge is not even, there is no charge. It is a useless, hopeless charge they are putting forward. How can you say security issues without detailing it? But they were saying that he was in Switzerland and these other
and
foreign
in possession
countries.
of illegal
now,
guns.
If they were
legally.
leave the guns now. They said that he was traveling.
Yes.
His travel is linked to insecurity issues. Now, he had come here. Why didn't they arrest him? All the way from Switzerland, he was back. Why didn't they arrest him? Okay, he got to the airport. Why don't they stop him and say, by the way, we are looking for you, we want to arrest you? Did they have it in mind that he wants to run away? Why did they have to go to arrest him in Kenya? First of all, that alone shows how evil, how senseless and inhuman. These people are so unkind. They are so inhuman. Going to arrest Besigye in a foreign land, as if he was a thief, as if he was what? For me, actually, whether they arrest or not, but why go to Kenya to arrest Besigye? She goes to launch a book of this lady. She wants to speak. Yes. She's going to give a talk at this lady's book. But Museveni has to frustrate him. He has to arrest him and frustrate him and stop him from doing what he was going to do and bring him here and put him in prison. For what? And you see the charges they put forward. I want to ask you, do you think President Museveni believes that we people who have brains, by the way, we are wise? He's not the only intelligent person. We people who have brains and who reason. Do you think I can ever believe that Besigye was with a gun? Those two guns they are talking about and the bullets, whatever they are. How did he pass at the airport, Entebbe airport, with guns? How did he go and enter into Kenya with guns? How did he enter the hotel? Even the hotel's checkers, with guns. How? And now, does he believe that, does he think that we can believe that those people who arrested him are not the ones who had the guns? They had to go with the guns and say Besigye is the one with the guns. And so that charge to me is a nuisance. It's a nonsensical charge that they are putting forward. They should have reasoned. I hear people say, they are saying, yeah, you wait until we get the evidence. Is it the first time?
Dr. What
how many times have they arrested Besigye? And how many times have they got the evidence? They keep shouting they have the evidence.
He has
they
never
have the
been
evidence.
convicted of
Which
any.
evidence do they have? Me, actually, what I'm saying, it is high time President Museveni has a human heart. And the way people say he has human heart, as long as you are not opposing him, then he has a human heart. But as long as you oppose and he's scared, me, what I believe, leave everything else. What I believe, you know, I had learned that my sister Martha Karua was organizing the opposition on the African platform.
Yes.
That she was organizing, she has organized the opposition to get together at that regional level. And that cannot leave Museveni sober. So I think that's what made him arrest Besigye, so that Besigye does not participate in that opposition thing, and they must put charges in him.
Doctor,
again,
yes.
I think also Besigye coming out to be, you know, active in the, is it PFF? This when, you know, when FDC, they had finished FDC.
Yes.
So when Museveni bought the FDC and thought he had finished it, and some members of FDC say, no, we are not finished, we are still there. And they join with their Besigye and they revive, they form a new party. You know, Museveni can even fear a rat. If a rat comes and says, I'm going to contest with you, you would see the guns, you would mobilize.
Just a rat.
Because this man loves power like I don't know. I don't know why this man loves power as a matter of life and death. Because he's now shaken. He's shaken by this PPF, which is even is it even registered?
Not yet.
Not I thought
fully,
he
not
was
fully
even
registered.
preventing it to be registered. But Museveni should really wake up and know. I want President Museveni to know that Uganda is not his personal property. That Ugandans are not his. And I want him to know that he's just human. Any time he's here, another time he's not here. He should not take these things as a matter of life and death. Why should he torture people? Me, I'm not so happy. I'm not happy at all. Because let me tell you, even if Besigye, even if they had some information they know about Besigye, that he is mobilizing.
Yeah, because there are some audios which are being released, allegedly saying that Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye has been mobilizing from the West to come and cause change in this country.
Now I want to ask you, if I can't if Museveni, before he went to the bush, to mobilize, to remove Obote,
to overthrow his government.
To overthrow his government. Doesn't he think he was doing right? Why did he go to mobilize to overthrow Obote? Because we were suffering. We were suffering, no human rights, no what, dictatorship. They were killing us. We are suffering, even by the people who removed Museveni, Obote. By the way, he was with those who removed Amir.
Yes.
And he came here. And then he was with those who removed Obote. So he's always going out to fight others. Why does he think he should not be fought? Me, I want to ask.
I hear you.
Because he was, especially as long as Besigye, for instance, I don't think he was doing that. But assuming he was doing that, he was mobilizing to redeem Uganda. He's mobilizing to redeem Uganda, just like he himself was mobilizing, and he was and he was, and moreover his mobilization and whatever he did, don't think that all those people in Ruwero who died, all those people who died through the war, do you think he would be clean of killing them? By the way, if you want to know, I will tell you this, it can as well get out. When I was chatting with President Museveni, when he wanted us to go back, to go back to him, I wanted us to go back to him after removing the term limit.
Yes.
And I told him, by the way, I'm afraid this time you have called me, you may kill me or imprison me. He said, why? Why do you say I will kill you and imprison you? I said, because at Chankwanza I told you the truth and you sacked me from your ministry.
Now why are you calling me back?
Now you have nowhere to sack me from. So now if I tell you even much more things than I told you in Chankwanzi, wouldn't you arrest me or kill me?
Could that be the reason why you declined?
And he said, kill you? Do I kill people? Why do you say I kill? I said, hey, what do you think you are doing in Ruwero? When you are in Ruwero fighting, don't you think you killed people? Then he told me, but those were rebels. I said, now that I'm a rebel to you, won't you kill me?
So his change of mind.
You see how we discussed that issue? Why I have brought to that point is to show you is that he was killing in the bush. He killed people. You think he did not kill people? And now that he's here, now whatever program brought him, he has implemented and he has failed to, he has reversed the whole thing that we went to the bush for. Why does he think he must live forever here as the head of this country?
What does this act of abducting Dr. Kizza Besigye speak to you in terms of democracy in Kenya?
Well, before I go to Kenya, actually, I just wanted to say I saw Winnie Byanyima, the wife of Besigye. The difference between Winnie Byanyima and I, people are different. He speaks calmly and she delivers her point. Mine I deliver with harshness like Besigye. So I saw Winnie telling Museveni in a very loving way. He said, please, President Museveni, it is not the fighting and the arresting and the torturing of Ugandans that will bring progress to this nation. He said, please, we need peace. Whatever you do, do it peacefully. We've been calling upon President Museveni now that he has gone astray and left the agenda which brought us together onto the political platform. He can only restore this agenda by peaceful negotiation. We have been crying for dialogue. We have been crying for dialogue. We want to sit with him and say, please, this is how you can't rule this nation like this. You can't. We are also human beings. We are Ugandans. For him, he came to remove dictators, but he has ended up being either life president or he wants to be a life president or make Uganda a kingdom. He wants to be a life president or make Uganda a kingdom. And we are there to say, no, this is not your nation. It is not your land. Stop it. And therefore, we should be on a table to dialogue. If he doesn't want this dialogue, then people will act like he did. Those who are capable of doing that, they will run and go and mobilize so that they can come and overthrow him and kill us again, which is not right. Which is not right. But I do not think that Besigye, if Besigye is mobilizing, we are mobilizing for a voice, a national, I mean international voice to tell this man, please, leave Ugandans be Ugandans. Don't torture them. Why shouldn't we mobilize around that kind of thing?
Let's speak about the democracy.
The democracy in Kenya, well, Kenya of course does better than us because they have never had overthrow. No single government has ever been overthrown. Ours, we have been overthrowing. And I believe that in terms of democracy, they are growing.
Yes.
You know, because why Kenyans have been like that? For them, they value their nation. They value their nation, they value their progress, they value. That's why for them, they fight in such a way like, you know, you are not going to throw your nation into turmoil. And of course, as you know, in Kenya, the way Uganda involves the military is not Kenya does, how Kenya does. Because, and this was done immediately after independence, when there was mutiny in 1964. The action taken by respective president in relation to the military determined the role of military in the governance of the country. What the action taken by Bote, he surrendered to the military and increased their salary, and from that time military has been the key in the governance of Uganda. But Kenya, they didn't bow. Is he Moi Kenyatta, the Museveni? He did not bow to the military. He said, come on, no. So the military knew their place, that they are supposed to be there to guard their nation. So they don't get involved in the public governance of the country. So to that extent, Kenya is much ahead of us, as you are saying. They are reasonable, they are more sensible, I think they are better. But now, with the this is not the first time that people have been captured from Kenya. I remember even the late Chiria, who had been imprisoned by Amin as one of the 5, I think, ministers. When he had crossed, they also brought him back. I don't know whether during Amin or what. But so I don't know whether the Kenya as a government was involved in collaboration to arrest Besigye. That one,
they have denied any
collaboration. We don't know. We don't know. Because people can go to Kenya there, because they got the intelligence and the ministries and so on, they work with hand in hand. So when intelligence of Ugandans are in Kenya, they can't be asked why you are here. So if they were here only to go to a hotel and arrest Besigye, they could do that.
Doesn't it raise questions to you,
Doctor?
They
could that. But what I'm coming to is this: whether they arrested him without knowing or knowing. For us here in Uganda, we know that this man, Ruto, is a very good friend of President Museveni. Yeah. And you know Museveni, his tactics, he's too much. He's too I don't want to use that word in attacking him, but there is some kind deep agenda, and the way he hides his things and deals with people is very tricky. The tricky way of handling his things. For us here, me as a Ugandan, I believe that Ruto's government is involved. Why? Because Ruto is a very close friend of President Museveni, and they collaborate. If he rings and say, please, I want that man arrested. Why didn't the hotel, when they arrested Besigye and grabbed him from was he from the hotel or what?
Yes.
When they grabbed him from the hotel, no, they didn't grab him from the hotel, I think. He had gone to visit somebody. They grabbed him. They could have arranged it or maneuvered it or what, I don't know. But I believe that the Kenya, for us, we believe that because that Ruto is a friend of Museveni, they can work together to do anything. But one thing I want to tell Ruto, since he's a young man who has taken over a very difficult situation, by the way, you remember what happened recently. Yes. He has not been having it easy. He has been having it rough. And if he's going to link and collaborate with President Museveni, thinking he will help him, President Museveni can always use you. What drives his agenda is his personal interest, his family interest. It is not national, whatever he appears to call it. But for him, what drives him is self-centeredness and family affairs. And so I would caution Ruto to be careful not to destroy East Africa. He should not destroy East Africa. You know why East African integration? You know why, why eventually East African Federation which was here, why broke? Is because when Obote ran to Nyerere, and Nyerere was not working with the Amin, the federation broke. And therefore, I think every head of state should not involve in the personal vindictiveness of each head of state. The head of state should be moved by national and regional issues.
Yes.
If, for instance, Ruto says, please, President Museveni, we need peace in Uganda because, the tortured people are running here, please, let's come and reconcile, then that I can say that's okay. But collaborating with a fellow head of state in relation to an individual, persecution of individual peoples who are opposing the wrongdoing in the country is not right. If he's part of it, he had better stop it.
Does this make Kenya unsafe for opposition politicians across East African countries, more so Uganda? Does it make...
I think, bearing in mind that even before Besigye, these young people had gone for a conference. Were they NUPO FDC? Imagine, when they said they arrested people at a conference, I said, but in East Africa or in regional or international, trainings, workshops, conferences, they take place. Now, why shouldn't opposition people go to attend a conference? And why should they be arrested? And they allow them and to come here. That's why I'm saying that the government must know these things. Because they can't come and get people from a hotel or an institution and they arrest them and they carry them across the border and you don't know. Does that mean your country is not safe? Because it can be invaded any time by anybody. So that means they are involved, and I think we are going to start fearing going to Kenya. Because especially the opposers of government, going to Kenya is now a challenge to us. It's a challenge.
What's your take on your friend Martha Karua leading the legal team of Dr. Kizza Besigye? Apparently, she has been selected and appointed as the lead counsel to represent retired Dr. Kizza Besigye in the military general court martial. What does that mean?
What's wrong with that?
What does that mean to you? Your friend now leading the legal team.
Well, after all, that's good that she leads the legal team, because if Besigye had not gone to launch her book, maybe they would not have arrested. Now, if you are arrested because of me, why shouldn't I also come and assist in redeeming you? So I see it's okay. What's wrong with that? But I believe that they will be allowed. Does Uganda follow East African law? You know, Uganda doesn't follow law. Do you know that they can close them out? I hope they won't. I hope Museveni will have sense enough to really know that East Africa is East Africa, and we have the legal systems within East Africa, and lawyers are allowed to go and defend within the region. Isn't it?
Let's speak at the manner in which President Museveni has been curbing dissent ever since he captured power. What does it mean to you? Is it greed for power, fear? Because the way he curbs dissent is...
You see, let me tell you, the very unfortunate thing is that some of us who were young did not know the nature and character of President Museveni. But when you talk to people like the late Kanyomozi, the late Tiberondwa, and maybe other people who had even studied with him, they tell us they have known him to be a very self-centered person, very crafty, very selfish, always, like competing. When you were doing well, you would not love you at school. when he would do, he had always said, I will one day become somebody. I will one day. And in fact, when he took over, I remember their headmaster was still, Vuntare was still
yes.
alive, and he said, all along I knew that man would set that country on fire. That's what he said, the president, the headmaster. What was he called? My husband knows, but he said, all along I had known that man would one day set Uganda on fire. Now he was setting it on fire for good, now he has set it on fire for bad. But anyway, for me, we complain, we grumble, but we were very disappointed. Some of us were I was extremely disappointed. When people see me critique and talk like this, and they say, she has a personal vendetta with Museveni. Man, me, Miria, where should the personal vendetta with Museveni come from? Why? The man came, my relatives had gone to the bush, they fought with him, they established the environment which helped me to, to run with my dream of fighting for women, to get into politics and realize my dream of becoming a member of parliament. I had become a lawyer, but I could not practice any law, I could not exercise my freedom, I could not, until he came on board with the original national resistance movement. But what we were disappointed with, me when I joined, wholesale 100%, me, I had thought never again will Uganda ever go into fighting again. I thought because we had seen Obote 1, had seen Obote, we had seen the other 7 months where they 1 year of catastrophe, Benaisa, Rure, Mwanga, we are dying, people disappearing. It was too much. And then Obote 2 came, and then you saw what I was documenting in my book.
Yes.
And when Museveni came here with 10-point program, which contained everything that we had wanted. So, oh my God, God has descended on us. I'm telling you, a person like me, I said, oh, God has come to us. And that's why I went wholesale. And I knew that this man, the way he was speaking the truth, can you imagine somebody who turns around the other way around? You are telling the truth today, you talk the opposite of what you said. For me, one time, again, let me refer to my conversation with him when we were parting, when he was calling me back. I asked him, but Mzee, when I joined you, you were like this, like here, the front of my hand.
Yes.
Right now, you are like the hinder, the behind of my palm. I said, which of you should I join? Whom am I returning to?
What was his response?
Was it there? Because, for instance, for me, really, and I'm glad that we don't have to, even the children, our children, because they will read. They will read what we say. When, like me, Miria, now, whatever I'm saying, now, if you find me behaving like Kamya, is he Kamya?
The IGG?
Yeah, the IGG. I said, oh, Museveni is killing a nation after all, she's a Mnyarwanda after all. And then when he say, come and get a job. Oh, this is the best man. He loves Uganda the most. What do you think of a person like that?
Hypocritical.
Who is he? So this is what President Museveni says. He used to come and telling us, kugumaza. Now he's the one kugumaza Ugandans. He came, oh my God. At times when I think, but one thing is this, criticize, I will criticize because you come to ask me. If you didn't come to ask me, I wouldn't be involved in that thing. Me, what I'm telling you, I'm praying for President Museveni. I'm praying, I don't know the kind of God we are praying, because first of all, President Museveni was favored by God with a very holy woman. Holy, saved and holy. That was not enough to preach him.
She moves with her Bible wherever she goes. Yes.
And now God brought him the daughter. Patience. a pastor.
Yes.
I saw him in Mbarara when he was launching the revival.
She moves with her Bible as well.
In Mbarara.
Yes.
And
whenever
he said, God has blessed us with a pastor and a first lady who is so holy. And now, how do they live, by the way, those holy people live with that person who is doing all these wrong things, torturing people, beating people? Why don't they tell him, please, leave Ugandans?
Maybe he doesn't listen to them.
They have joined in self-centeredness. It is all greedy. It is all about them. It is all about them. Now they are son. Now they are what? So for me, what I do, and I call upon Ugandans, this God whom we pray hears. But he can only hear you when you are obeying him also.
Doctor,
So I call upon Ugandans to tighten up and continue praying for this man Museveni. Pray for him that the Lord, the Holy Spirit may grab him and tell him, yes, he can live without being the president of this nation. Otherwise, no.
Doctor, should East Africans be worried about the relationship of Ruto versus Museveni? Should they be worried more?
But me, I don't want to. You the press people, you also exaggerate things. You exaggerate too much. Do you think anybody who goes to Kenya now where will be arrested? No. I don't think that they should be worried. I don't think that they should take it that it is going to be a must that Ugandans cannot go to Kenya, that they will be arrested. No.
Doctor,
they must. What I want us to do is that they condemn what happened. They condemn and reject it, and then those people so will understand.
Thousands of East Africans from Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenyans have been abducted, even from
Now what do you want me to do? What do you want me to tell you?
Is Ruto learning from President Museveni, because abductions have been taking
now you
place
want
here?
me to you want to put words in my mouth. I don't know what Ruto does. I don't follow what they abduct. I don't really follow. I don't follow. But I had already told you that
maybe his mentor is teaching
Ruto
him
must
more.
be careful with Museveni. That's what I want to tell you. He must be careful and stop doing anything that is following his mentor, because this Museveni mentor is not the right mentor for a progressive man who wants to lead Kenya. Progress is not.
Doctor, where do you see us? We are headed for an election. Already the Electoral Commission has released the roadmap for the 2026 general elections. What do you see ahead?
But you release a roadmap, don't you remember that is it you, boss?
Yes.
Who was carrying out census?
Yes.
Didn't they tell us that census was carried out wrong? I read it.
Yeah, that is.
I saw it clearly that actually there were many challenges and therefore they don't have the right people.
Yeah.
The census would not say that it was credible.
Lots of messes.
It had a lot of challenges and messes, and therefore we cannot have the right people who are going to vote. So now where are they going to get them? I read the thing they were saying that unless they allow us back to go and carry census again. I saw them, I read it. So now, to begin with, who are the people who are going to vote? Is it the number of people that we have now on as the Ugandans? If the census was wrong, how many millions do we have now?
They say over 45.
Without being sure, without knowing. Over 45 from where? Because it is, what do you call them? I've forgotten the word, where you are just...
Estimation. Yes.
So we are operating on the basis of estimation.
In 2020, many people were killed. Actually, this month of November, we still remember the many actually Ugandans who were killed on 18th and 19th of November. President Museveni came out to say that some were stray bullets, and an investigative conducted by the BBC reported many over 50 Ugandans being killed. What do you say ahead of this election, even including these abductions which have started on
But for
Meted?
me, first of all, on me, I don't. It's quite unfortunate that we pretend to go for elections, and that is the biggest problem I have with President Museveni. And when I say that to a certain extent in these, for the issues of elections, I prefer Amin, because Amin came and said, me, I'm not leaving, I'm a dictator. And he stayed there, never tortured people during elections.
He was honest.
Never spent money on elections or torturing us on elections. So for him, he made it clear. But President Museveni, in his heart and in his actions and so on, he has to be the president forever, okay? And yet he goes to legitimize his desire and wishes through very bogus elections. Which elections do we take? Do we ever hold? You know, they have always, ever since they have always challenged them. But now, me, as you know, I participated in elections of the seniors. I never wanted to go back to these elections. But when I saw the senior people who were being beaten, tortured, taken off their land, and I was crying, saying, God, who is going to speak to these people? And then down the road, they said, oh, the seniors, they have 5 positions to represent them in parliament. I said, this is my opportunity. God has answered my prayer to go and speak for the elderly. And me, I had wanted to go and make sure that we make policies, laws, and programs and integrate the senior citizens, the old people in this country, on whose shoulders Uganda is, who are dumped in like garbage after doing their work, and they suffer like that because we don't integrate them in the development process of this nation. I had wanted to go there and speak for that and make sure that they are part of Ugandans whom they are planning for. But when I went there, there was one position, woman representative for the whole country. I went there, and when I saw what happened, they just wholesale purchase, you know. And I was there. I sat there. I said, God, thank you very much. You wanted me to see the extent of evil and moral decadence in this country. Because if me, Matembe, Miria, as a senior person, I can be bought with just some small money. But they were giving them a lot of money. They bought them food. They put them in hotels. They gave them buses to transport them. I didn't have a bus. The government gave them buses. They gave them billions of money. That woman who is supposed to have defeated me, whom I'm sure you don't know and you will never know, and many Ugandans, except where she was born, maybe. Do you know the name of the woman representing the senior citizens?
Factually speaking, no, I don't.
Nobody knows. And you can imagine that one who defeated Miria. You know, when I was seated there watching what was going on, they started dancing with the doctorate to the tuzirinyidde mu mud. The doctorate, we are stepping the doctorate in the mud. And I looked at them and said, of course, when you throw doctorate in the mud, then you are finished. Because I can never hear, you never. I talked to people and I said, do you know the woman? They don't know. Including the other one who supposedly defeated the Babu.
Captain Francis,
Babu.
yeah.
That one I used to hear her, she was Mama Chisanji. I don't know the real name, but she was Mama Chisanji. I think they ended that elections. They are in there. And I was wondering, and people are telling me that you can't win, President Museveni doesn't want you. I said, no, President Museveni can't stop me from, going to speak for the seniors. They said, we are telling you, for you are joking. And indeed it happened. They powered, was it? Billions of money, I'm telling you, billions.
Just in the election.
To get those 5 people in parliament. Who are they? Do you know them? How many of them do you know? How many? 5 people. You You see her like the...
So you can authoritatively confirm that this was even a wastage of time?
Of course, that one was wastage. That was to give them money to enjoy and build houses. But then people would feel good, you know. I mean, that is one of the patches, I think.
Retired Dr. Kizza Besigye subscribes to a school of thought that elections are useless now.
But that's the truth. Am I not telling you that?
You subscribe to that?
They are useless. If anything, they are wasting. They are useless, yet they are costing this nation too much. They are useless.
There are those who still believe in them. What do you have to tell them? Those who
what
still
do I
believe.
tell them? Me, do I talk my talk? Do they have to follow me? Me, I say, well, there is nothing. I don't expect anything out of elections. I don't expect, and I can assure you, this President Museveni cannot be removed through elections. Which elections? Organized by who? He can't. He can only be removed by God himself. This man, where he has reached, he has a strategy, the plans, the strategies he has, the plans he has. He just wants to use to appear. If I had authority, if I had my way, nobody would go to elect. He would just go hold these elections and people remain in their homes. But I don't have that way.
Would you advise
because the elections, you see, let me tell you,
would you advise Ugandans to boycott?
Museveni, whatever he does is not for the benefit of Uganda, but for legitimizing his power and authority. Like I told you long ago, like when you see Museveni has a cabinet, the cabinet is for legitimizing what he wants. But none of those cabinet ministers have authority to decide anything. They can't.
Would you advise Ugandans to boycott the forthcoming elections? Because they are useless.
They won't boycott. Me, all I'm saying is that if I were them, we stay in our house. Because what does it get them? Many Ugandans, well, those rich ones who are grabbing, everybody who is, by the way, even those people, members of parliament who support Museveni, who are in NRM, they are not with him, they are with their stomachs. They are there as long as they are benefiting from there.
Dr. Lastly, you've been here, you've witnessed lots of things, you've served in different capacities. Actually, what you told me about the election of the seniors, if they participated in transactional politics, just purchasing votes and everything, where is this country headed to with the number of youth who have belief, who want change, who want to see change? If the elder,
but you already know where it is heading. All the young people are slaves, they've gone into slavery. Those ones who are here who oppose, they are beaten, they are tortured, they suffer. By the way, me, in Uganda here, with President Museveni, you see in Kenya how the young people went onto the street. Because of their systems, the military is not involved in those things.
Yes.
And they follow the law, the courts decide and things happen. But here in this country, everything is one man. Whether judiciary, whether police, whether military, whether everywhere. And everything must be done in his favor. So, that's why for me, I don't advise these young people to choose to get onto the street like the other people.
Why should they do that?
Because by the way, those people, the young people, the educated people, aren't they the majority?
Yes.
When you say what should they do, if for instance they wanted Museveni to go through elections, he would go. Ask me why. Because those young people are usually the ones who govern the elections. They are the ones, what are they called? They are
the polling agents.
They are the ones. They are mainly. One time I told the teachers in Mbarara, I said, stop shouting about reduction of, your poor salary. You are the very ones who manage elections in this country. Teachers are there, they are the agents, they are the counters, they are the whatever, they are the ones. When they are there by steering the elections, where are they? And even those who will be managing the machines and what in the computer there, who are they? They are the ones. If they didn't, I want to ask, how do you think Kyagulanyi managed to win elections in Uganda? Because they purpose to do it.
It was on purpose.
If they purpose, these young people you see, if they purpose and say, okay, they are beating us, they are torturing us, so let's go through elections. And they plan how to really behave like they are supporting the government. And they go, do you think those people who were on election polls in the whole of Uganda where Kyagulanyi won, you think they were not the movement people? You think they had said they are not movement? They were there, they are doing, the electoral commission is working with them and they think they are doing, but they knew what they were doing. They can't do that, but because of greed, because Museveni caused the spirit of poverty in people's minds. So they kastababa wayo, that's it. These young people, if they were not driven by self-interest also, I talk with them, I meet them like when you are in sauna where they say, but you mama, for you finished, that's why you talk like that. For us, we have to live. What do we eat? We have to, I say, but you have to sacrifice before you can eat what you need to eat well. There is a need for sacrifice, but for them they say, once they give me money also, I also enjoy. What do you want me to do? Do I die like that? That's the attitude they have. They are no more, what drives them is not like, where is our nation going? If people were driven by that question of where is our nation going, not many would be involved in corruption and greed and so on. But now what drives people is myself. Many of them, as long as a young person is given something to eat, that's it.
Lastly, Doctor,
they have forgotten the future. They don't know that the future, by the way, is in their hands. We are handing it over to them, and it will go where they don't even bother where you to go. I don't know why they don't think about that.
What do you have to say about the political prisoners who are pardoned by President Museveni, the 19 NUP political supporters who were pardoned? Recently, they pleaded guilty and convicted of being in possession of military attaché, and just this week they were pardoned by President Museveni.
Me, I don't, let me tell you, I don't blame those children. They are young people. They are put in prison for nothing. They don't see any future. They don't see whatever. So when they say, okay, let's admit that we did it so that we may be released and go out, I don't blame them at all. They have suffered enough in that prison, and moreover for nothing.
Does it mean our freedom lies in the hands of President Museveni? But
why are you asking me that? You know that, I've told you. I told you he's in charge, he's the one who says the court, the whatever. I saw him, by the way, he was in, when he was in Teso, was it Teso recently? When he was promoting parish model, whatever it is, when he was in campaigns for 2026. I saw him seated there at his sitting on TV. He said, those people who have eaten the money for the parish model, don't think that we are going to say you bring back the money or whatever. They are going to get into prison. They are going there, they will be imprisoned. Now no bail. And he said they are not going to get bail, they will face the offense. And I said, but are you the judge? As I sat there, you know, people look at it like that. But for us with the legal mind, you can't stand up. He was assuring the people, I can assure you, these people who ate money, these things of saying that they will pay it back or they will be released on bail, that's out. They will be in prison. They will not be released on bail. They will be charged and be imprisoned. And I said, but now, are you the judge? Because bail is an issue of the judge to handle.
Yes.
Putting somebody in prison is the judge to handle. But here was the president declaring and assuring people there. What does that mean? That even the judiciary is in his hands. And how Ugandans really hand over the country to one person. And they say, Atona Okolotia Munange. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? How many are we? 45 people against one person. And you say we can't do much. Then I don't want to abuse you. Let me stop there.
We'll just end it at that. We thank you so much for your time, Doctor, for speaking to us whenever we give you a call.
Uganda Eyenkya.